Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the most exciting part of our Rhapsody Plus project journey. And we're going to be having our hero, Rana, very shortly. He's just waiting for all of you to settle down because I think a lot of people are still joining. In the meanwhile, just a few minutes, I wanted to highlight that most of you have finished submitting your projects. Some of you are still submitting your projects, so you are going to be getting your participation certificates downloadable by Tuesday evening. You'll get one more notification, and congratulations for having completed that project. And the merit certificates as well as the excellence certificates will come to you by the 25th after the evaluations have been completed. So a lot of deadlines to look forward to now. Your work is done. Now our work has begun. So we're going to be sending you all that information. Meanwhile, here are some interesting updates. The phenomenal success of Rhapsody over the last 3 weeks. So we are celebrating the resounding success of PBL. Some of the projects that we've seen are phenomenal. We had more than 80 schools participate, which was over 20,000 students actually, and we are evaluating 3,000 projects as we speak. This is, I think, never before in the history of Indian education. It's something amazing. So big round of applause, first of all, to all our school leaders and all the SPOCs, all the teachers in the schools who have been leading the projects. If the first round of applause is to you. These are all the names of our school heads, our school teachers who've been our SPOCs through the journey. And I'm sharing them quickly in the interest of time because we are waiting for Mr. Rana. We'll keep sharing this information with you as the days go by. Congratulations to all these schools and all your names that are in this. These are some of the other school SPOCs from our different schools. And the list goes on and on and on. Okay, congratulations to all these teachers are going to be getting certificates and citations signed by all the project leaders very shortly. Congratulations to you. We wouldn't have been able to achieve this without you. And of course, we have very, very, very special SPOCs. Some of the projects from these schools have been phenomenal. Thank you so much to all the teachers. Now, many of you also have been interacting with the Rhapsody SPOCs. So these are all the students from IIT, Kriya University, VIT, NIT who've been interacting with you. A big round of applause to all of them who've been leading you in these various projects and been doing such a stellar job in being able to help you with the projects and their execution. Our special winners of the creative quiz, which was done with Nexus, Aishwarya of Mahatma Montessori Madurai, Sriram of Blossoms in Tanjavur, and Akash from PS Chennai for having won the Creative Quotient quiz. Multiple congratulations. Now, what's going to happen is, as we promised, the projects continue through the summer. There are 2 summer camps, and it's called the 6 Degrees Summer Camp. And the 6 degrees is because 6 degrees of separation. So how all subjects and all human beings connect. So it's going to be, again, a one-of-a-kind summer camp. It's happening virtually. The camp dates are April 25th, camp number 1, and May 16th for camp number 2. It is there for almost all classes. So the project-based learning camp is going to happen in the following 4 topics. One is the Internet of Things, IoT. The second is climate change. The third is in data science, and the 4th is in creativity in leadership. And these are all the project leaders who are going to be facilitating these projects. So you have HCL along with Kriya, which is doing the Internet of Things project. We have University of Houston, Professor Michael Pelletier, who's going to be leading the project on climate change. We have Professor Gaurav from IIT Madras leading the project on data science. And we have Professor Jayant from National University of Singapore leading the project on creativity in leadership. Like you did these projects, but what's going to happen over the summer is going to be a lot more fun, a lot more exciting. For classes 3 to 5, we have creative camps, which will involve not only fun learning through the universe. In fact, you're going to be doing things like building telescopes and working with kids and so on, but you also have music, you also have conservation, etc. And this is being done in conjunction with Mystic Land and with Little Monks. You also have coding as part of the summer activity, and it's going to be called Art Code, specially curated by Little Monks. And even for the very small kids, we have a special camp, which is going to be our summer music camp, which has art integrated activities for math, science, and language. And you also have a lot of fun. Now, all three camps for the oldest students, of course, who are going to continue with the project-based learning, and then the other two camps, there's a lot of information. Don't worry, we're going to be sending this link along with the information and early registration to you. There is a link to this, and this is being emailed to you. It's called the Rhapsody 6 Degrees Camp, and you have an early bird registration for this. April 25th and May 16th are the 2 dates, and this is how the link is going to look, and it's going to come to you. Okay, so once again, I'm going to go back to the slide which congratulates all the school SPOCs. Okay, and you also know about the summer camp. Okay, so I'm going back to congratulating all our school SPOCs. Once again, a huge round of applause. We can't believe it, over 20,000 students participating in this project across the country. And the projects are, of course, overwhelming us as we go through the evaluation. So congratulations to all our school SPOCs once again. And on that note, and I'm going to leave the slide on where we are talking about the 6 degrees summer camp. So that again, once again, for classes K to 12. So congratulations. And on that note, and without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to welcome first our dear friend and Rhapsody family member, Mr. Shobhu Yarlagadda, and who's been a part of our Rhapsody journey and on creativity. Shobhu was equally surprised when he said, what is a piano player doing with creative intelligence in K-12 education? And that's where we are. And I am not going to introduce our special guest for the day. Everybody in the country and across the globe knows who he is. We've all been great fans of you, sir, Mr. Rana Daggubati. Welcome to Rhapsody and welcome to this platform. So kind of you to join us today. I know you're shooting in Bombay, and having made time for us, it's phenomenal. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Such a pleasure.
And, you know, as Mr. Rana and I would agree, the true Bahubali here is Mr. Shobhu Yarlagadda. With Rana sir's permission, I'm pulling Shobhu's leg a little bit as well. Shobhu is a great believer in education, great believer. For those of you who haven't seen Mr. Shobhu before, he's, of course, the Arca Media Works, and he produced Bahubali, and of course producers of films. He's very heavily involved in multiple sectors. So Shobhu is a surprise panelist today for the students. We are being joined by over 18,000 students in India today, and they're all the way from J&K to Tamil Nadu, from Assam to Gujarat. They're all over the place. We also have, because of Rana, we also have people from the Middle East as well, who are all part of CBSE schools in the Middle East, who are also joining us today. So the process, sir, was that they all went through creative intelligence projects. So this entire mission is, how do you sculpt and structure creativity within the scope of education? And very many progressive schools across India participated in this project. Children worked on very interesting projects. The first was creativity in science, curated by Harvard with us. There was a creativity in civil engineering, curated by IIT Madras, again for the students. And then we had creativity in design thinking, which was done with Intellect Design. And now they're getting into 10 other projects. We're even going to be doing a creativity in food project very shortly. So lots of things coming to the children this way. So Rana, sir, I mean, what we did is we ran a contest and we said, what are the questions you want to ask Mr. Rana? And we had over 5,000 questions. And whittling down from 5,000 questions to 10 that we're going to ask you today, in the interest of time, it's the most brutal thing I've ever done, to pick 10 out of 5,000. So without further ado, Shobhu and I are going to act as quiz masters, and we ask you the questions, and that's how this is going to work, sir.
Shobhu is going to be my quiz master again.
Apparently so.
Hi, Rana.
Hi, Shobhu.
Pleasure being here. How are you doing, Rana?
Very well, sir. I've just finished. My body clock is a little all over the place because I've been shooting nights for the last 5 days.
Oh, okay.
So I've been sleeping at 4 a.m. and waking up at some 11 o'clock in the morning or getting back to work at 6 in the evening. So it's a little bit odd, but yes.
Good.
So I think, Shobhu sir, I'll get started on the questions to Rana sir.
Please.
I mean, normally I would say, would you like to say a few words? I always find it very funny when people say that. So I think
I'm just happy to be here. So shoot away, guys.
Yeah, and also the evening belongs to the children, so I'm going to their questions. The first is from Swati Kumara Jyoti Bala Vidya Mandir in Chennai. And her question is, despite all the advances in the creative world, the emphasis in school is still scoring a centum in maths or science. How did you, Rana, manage to convince everybody that storytelling and your way of doing it was going to be your life? How did it start?
Well, first, because I think the scoring in math or science wasn't very good growing up, and it was odd, right? Every time when I was younger, I always wanted to grow up and be an adult. But the time I became an adult, I realized I do exactly what I liked when I was a kid. There were two things that I liked when I was a child, when I was growing up, when I was in 6th to 7th grade. My mother got me the Amar Chitra Katha comic books at that point, which were things that I was fond of. And my father got a laser disc of a film called Star Wars. And my life kind of shaped from then on, uh, where I knew what I was learning in school only taught a little bit of that, but I needed to find other places to learn. Today, obviously, there's a vast more knowledge and vast more formal education and all of these available. But 18, 20 years ago, when we started, visual effects was new, films were new, and fortunately, post visual effects, I got into being an actor into the biggest visual effects film that Shobhu had produced, Bahubali. So I think it stuck to and I now today am partner at Amar Chitra Katha, recreating comic books and stories back again. So I don't think much has changed as a child. What I believed in when I was young is what I believed in now. Uh, it it is obviously a hard cycle to prove that you're trying to make a career here. Like a lot of my friends from school who went to colleges in the US, even after I became an actor and I was acting for a few years, thought I didn't have a real job. Uh, they were wanting me to invest in companies, they're wanting me to work in other places to make sure there's a much more stable life or an environment, right? But I think today the world is very different. Today we see engagement of art and creativity at levels which we've never seen before. Today with Web 3.0, metaverse, all of this coming along, the artist learning animation or drawing in class will be as important as learning math. I think that standard is now being defined by the world, and I think you guys who are watching are in a much better place than I was in, or probably Shobhu was in.
Thank you, sir. Shobhu, the next question from you. Sorry, I think you're muted.
Yeah. So this is from Harini Beyond 8 in Chennai. Creativity is sometimes seen as going beyond constraints. Has there been a time when everyone in your team, crew, directors, producers, opposed you and you still went ahead with an idea and it worked out well?
That's the reason that we asked Shobhu sir to ask you this question.
Very interesting. There was a film I was doing while I was working on Bahubali. There was a film called The Ghazi Attack that I had done. Now, it was a submarine war film. Now, it was an idea which was formed as a short film. We met a short film. Sankalp was making a short film based on this. And when I heard the story, I wanted to make a feature film out of it. Now, today is a different time, but in 2012, if you tell a Telugu producer saying, I want to do a film without a song or an action sequence, it will all be set inside of a submarine. Everybody will be communicating there. It was a very hard task to sell. But I think so that was something that I stuck to my instinct, saying, okay, now this is a story that needs to be told. India has a navy. India has done things in the ocean and under the water. That's history as well, right? So to me, that was important. And I think just that belief in that story and belief in that filmmaker made that project real. And from there on, it led to many films coming within set parameters and others. You see many more films nowadays. So I think every time creativity needs to be pushed, once it's pushed, it becomes a norm, but it's the hard step to first get out there.
Thank you, sir. The next question is from Nasreen Banu from Santanam Vidyalaya, Tiruchirappalli. And her question is, how do you balance your creative instincts with your business instincts?
See, ultimately, everything is about stories in the center of it. Right? What do I understand? I understand stories much more than I understand business. And all the businesses that I have invested in or I'm part of today is to enhance my storytelling capability to the fullest, whether it's in the world of visual effects, whether it's in the world of gaming, animation. Ultimately, it's a game or it's a story, and we need people to be engaged in the closest format. So all my business ideas have also been ventured through story. Story has been the guiding force to all of this.
Thank you, sir. The next question, I'll ask this, but I'm actually going to ask this question of Shobhu sir and you, actually. I'm making both of you respondents. And this is from Nalini Rawal from DJ Ketan School, Mumbai, and Om Sharma from Richmond Global School, Delhi. And the question is, doing something repetitively can cause a creative rut. How do you push past that rut? Are there any tips? So how do you do the same thing over and over, day after day?
So, Shobhu, you want to go first or I go first?
Rana, go ahead.
Okay. So one thing I believe in, the word passion comes in being able to do the same thing over and over again for the rest of your life, right? Being an actor is my passion. The fact that I like to play different characters is my passion. So I am happy being able to do it over and over again for a long period of time. So I think it's both interrelatable. You just keep getting better and better as an actor. What I assumed I knew when I started acting in films and what I know today, there's a world of a difference. There's a world of an understanding, and that only comes with repetition. It's how are you able to do it every day, reinvent yourself the best way possible. So that's repetition for me. That's just made me better.
Thank you, sir.
For us as producers, it's always we get to see different stories every time. Each story there's one Bahubali, but there are so many smaller stories, so many different stories that we get to see, and each is different. So although it looks like we're producing one film after another, or one series after another. The challenges for each film or each series, from writing to pre-production to the actual production and release, it's completely different. So the challenges, the people that we work with, the different types of people that we get to work with on each different project varies. So all that really gives us new challenges that keep us going. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. The next question is Darshini Jaykumar from Mahatma Global Gateway School, Madurai. Her question is creativity an inborn trait, or is it something that you learn over time? How do you see it?
I think it's something that you learn over time. It's just an inclination, and you're encouraged well enough. I think that becomes a form, and you just keep learning more and more. And the further you get, you just feel like you know lesser and lesser, and you start discovering yourself more. So I think creativity is an ongoing journey. The more open you are to receiving things, you get to be more and more creative.
Thank you. Very, very well put, sir. Thank you. Shobhu, sir, the next question from you.
Yeah. This is from Varshini Prabhu, Balavidya Mandir, Chennai. So the question is, they say creativity and madness about one's work are interconnected. How mad do you become when you get into a project? An anecdote.
So this answer is better answered by my wife. So she says there's a thin line. I don't know if you're really creative or you're mad. So I think there is somewhere, that's when I first understood it. I think she put it in the best sense for me, where if one doesn't have if the world doesn't have an explanation to it, it feels like madness. Shobu will support me on this. When we were making Bahubali 1, there were more people that thought it was madness than they thought it was right? But there was a few inside the unit that believed we made the greatest thing. So I think it's about, if the world doesn't have an explanation, you're called mad. The minute they find an explanation, you become a genius.
I think I should just add a quote here from Ram Gopal Verma. I think Rana, when the day after Bahubali released, I met Ram Gopal Verma. We ran into Ram. He said, "Shobu, till yesterday you were considered one of the biggest fools. Today you're considered a genius." So one day afterwards. So that is the perfect quote.
That's
Thank you. Very interesting. Thank you, sir. The next is from Padma Priya from Mahatma Global Gateway, Madurai. This is a very interesting and insightful question, sir. Which has influenced your life more, success or failure?
Success is a little bit of a lousy teacher, because you just assume you know a lot more than you actually did. But it's the failure that teaches you extreme lessons, right? It's much more harder lessons is what failures taught you. But obviously there's learning from each and everything that you do, but failure is a much more hard-hitting thing, and it becomes more definitive in your life than success does.
And this is from Jessica Sethi in Modern Public School, Delhi. She sent me at least 3 messages saying that she's your biggest fan. So she wanted to ask this question.
Thank you.
She just says, sir, what motivates you? What motivates Rana Daggubati?
I think it's there's so much stories to tell, so much opportunity out there, right? And I think I just get excited with anything that's new and or that's hidden and needs to come out to the open. So I think as long as stories inspire me, I'll keep waking up very, very happily each day.
So I know this is becoming repetitive and I'm just asking questions, but one of the questions was, how do you get past repetitiveness? So I'm going to just push past it. This is from Nile Nair, Venkateshwar Global School, Delhi. It's again a very interesting question because they did a project on design thinking. And Nile says, how much emphasis do you place on your learning environment to create something new? Do you have like a creative space that you design from? Do you have a special space for that?
So most of my life is divided into 2 things. One is I'm on a film set or I'm not. So when I'm a film set, it's creativity at its fullest, because first you're going away from real life, real problems, real issues, or whatever you have to deal with, into another person's life, right? It's to explain to younger people, I just keep saying, I'm going to the metaverse in some ways, right? We are engaging with the character, engaging with those problems, and finding creative solutions to best engage that story. So that's the shoot world. But the office world is filled with everything that I can learn from, everything that I can be inspired from, and what we do is collective art, right? Cinema is, you need a lot of people from different art forms to come together and make something that's beautiful as film. So I think it's important. A space is always very important to make sure that everyone is learning alongside you. So that's something that during the process of Bahubali, that's what Mr. Rajamouli did a lot for all of us, where everything that he was learning, he made sure came across to the entire large family of that film. So I think that's very important. Learning is important, and making sure your knowledge is shared with the others is important.
Thank you, sir. Very, very articulately put, as always. The last question, certainly not the least. Again, my apologies to the 4,900 questions that we couldn't feature today. Abhishek, again from Mahatma CIS, Madurai. And his question says, what if everyone in this world disappears like a Thanos snap, and you have a choice to choose one stakeholder to live with you? Who would that be?
If this planet is going as kaboom, I'm going to stick with Elon Musk, which I probably will figure out because planet species and a bunch of us can
Go to
start
Mars.
a new civilization. Right?
Wonderful. So thank you so much, Rana sir. It's a great pleasure to have you with us.
Pleasure being here. Thank you.
Yeah, and I mean, this was one of the first times that thanks to the pandemic, I know you don't hear the word thanks to the pandemic, we had this opportunity to get some of the top creative minds in the world to work directly with school students across India. And this was made possible. Shobhu has been a great believer in what we're doing. And I reached out to him and I said, how can we get one person who can unite the entire subcontinent into a Zoom room? And we immediately said you. And thank you once again for your kindness in spending this time. And
most
very
happy
good.
being here. And I'd at some point like to do this in live while seeing all of you.
Absolutely. I think you are on, sir. So, and I promised your team and Shivani that we will let you go in 20 minutes. So I've stuck to that time. So I'm very happy.
Thank you, sir. But it's such a pleasure being here. Thank you,
Rana sir, and very good luck with your projects.
Thank you, sir. Good luck, guys. Thank you, Shobhu.
Bye, Rana. Bye, Anil. Thank you so much.
Shobhu sir, one more minute with you.
Sure.
Thank you once again, and your vision and your help and gratitude to you again. Koti.
No, my pleasure. I think the questions are very interesting. It was a pleasure being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shobhu sir. Thank you.
Bye.
So to everybody logged into the platform, once again, thank you for joining us today. I'm going to share the summer camp again. So if you want to interact more with people like Rana and you want to be involved in projects from across the world, here's your chance. So the 6 Degrees Summer Camp, the link is being sent out to you. So don't worry if you haven't seen the details before you logged in. As I said, there are going to be 4 projects following this. One is from the University of Houston on climate change. And the person who's leading that project used to be the former US ambassador to India. So it's a great person to work under. Then you have HCL doing an IoT project along with Clear Learning's help. You've got IIT again, but this time doing a data science project. And you've got J. Narayanan doing a creativity and leadership projects. And all this is coming your way from April 25th. For your younger brothers and sisters, there's a camp which is actually going to do multiple activities. It has got activities in art integration, but it's also got art code brought to you by Little Monks. And very interestingly, we've got a fantastic package put together by Mystic Land, which is going to take you through in terms of environment, universe, conservation, and so many different things. So this is going to be a very interesting project. And for if you have very tiny sibling, we've got something for them as well to bring them into the Rhapsody family. And they've got art integrated activities happening on a daily basis. They're 10-day camps, one starting on April 25th and one's on May 16th. Don't worry, the link is being sent to you. Thank you for joining us. And we had Ballaladeva joining us today. More such wonderful treats are in store for you from Rhapsody. And thank you for joining us and have a great Sunday. Once again, thanks to all the school Spoks, thanks to the Rhapsody Spoks, thanks all of you guys for joining us. And the people whose questions got chosen, you're getting special certificates. So congratulations once again to you. Thank you, Rhapsody team. And thank you for everyone for joining us.